Hey, we're live. Well, good evening, or good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. It's Jeff, Godless Scammer. I very happy to have Amanda, aka Momma Atheist, come back to the channel today. She very kindly co-hosted with myself and Chris Shelton last week. But this is going to be it's going to be a little more informal, this one. So we just thought I'd invite Amanda on for a kind of a let's getting to know Amanda a little bit better, and talk about some of the things that Amanda does. Nothing too formal. So this is going to be nice laid back sort of stream, I hope. So we'll see what we've got in the chat there. I see we've got Critical Cripple, Ilya Moon, Daily Atheists, and Math Pig. Badger's in the chat, Jessa, and of course yourself, Amanda. So welcome everyone. So yeah, this is what it's going to be today. If you've got any questions you want to throw Amanda's way in the chat at some point, we'll try to address some of them. So as this is more of a laid back thing, I'm just going to try and pop the cork on this, and I don't know how this is going to go. Oh, thankfully that was I was fearing the worst. That was going to be a real big bang then, like champagne. But I have some beer to get in the spirit of being a light-hearted thing. So
I've always got my Coke with me, so
you're on the Coca-Cola today. Yeah. No, we won't bring Drunk Manda out for this stream.
Drunk Manda comes out on 6-pack. So
yeah. Math Pig. It's a cherry beer, mate. That's what I've got. So
well, that sounds good.
That's what it kind of looks like wine. It's incredibly sweet. You know, they're like sour sweets. Drinking a sour sweet.
Very good.
So let's talk a bit about you then, Amanda, because I mean I've known you just under a couple of months now. I don't know if you want to sort of tell about how you came to the community and why you decided to get into doing YouTube. So if you want to tell us a bit about that.
It started. I've had my Twitter account for a while. I think like 10 years, but I never used it. And when I moved to Georgia with my son a few years ago, it was kind of like a wasteland. It's mostly Christians here. We felt very alone. And maybe like 8 months ago or so, Angel showed me. Angel's my son. Showed me some YouTube atheists. I didn't realize that thing existed. So we started watching those, and one of them, was like, "Oh, follow me on Twitter." So I was like, "Okay, I have a Twitter account." So I started using the account too. Yeah.
Thank you, Math Pig.
I don't shill myself, and I don't talk about myself very well, but I did for Jeff. Promise I would, so I'll try.
Yeah.
So I just started. I started following some of the YouTube atheists on Twitter, and I had mentioned Nervardia at one point. Just shouted her out a little bit. That she was somebody that I followed and looked up to. And at the time, I only had, like I said, I don't know tweets pretty much. I had only said a couple things, so I didn't really have any followers or anything. And she followed me right away and messaged me, and she's like, "Oh, that was really nice of you." And we started talking and kind of became friends. And when I was, I don't really sleep that much. Most of you who know me know that about me. And so I was up really late one night. It was a Thursday night, Friday morning, and Nervardia had texted me. She's like, "Oh, we're doing this really fun stream with this guy, Atheist Pastor. You should come watch." And I did, and I got kind of hooked. I think I'd watched maybe 2 or 3 episodes before Chris, Atheist Pastor, asked me to come on. I didn't want to video chat because it was first thing in the morning for me. But I've always chatted with them, and that's how I got to know them. So I kind of got pulled into the atheist community, but on the Australian side. That's why most of the people, a lot of the people I hang out with are the Australians, plus Jay, who's kind of an honorary Australian because he works third shift and is up midnight too. So we have our 6-pack crew, and then I have my my math pig crew, and we kind of all merged together. So a bunch of us just became friends, and they found out, what I do for a living because I'm everybody knows I'm a climate scientist, and they're like, oh, that's something that we don't have in the community. We have people that are chemists that are atheists, and people that are work in the medical field and stuff like that, or people that are just atheists that don't really have a job outside of that, but you have a voice that's something different. So why don't you make a channel? I was like, nobody wants to hear from me. Why don't you make a channel? No, nobody wants to hear from me. So it was back and forth like that for a couple months. I was like,
I just twisted your arm into it then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, I'll do a channel. Just leave me alone.
No, and I do it, and everybody always asks, like, I did R and Raw the other day, and somebody had asked me the next morning, oh, how many subs do you have? And I was like, I don't know, because it's just not something I always pay attention to. Friends of mine will tell me, oh, you have so and so many subs. And they didn't believe me. They're like, no, you totally know. You check all the time. I was like, no, I really don't. That doesn't matter. Like, being part of the community is what matters to me, and just having this connection to everybody and be able to do stuff like, hang out with you or I'm on a lot of Math Pigs after parties, or doing 6-pack is pretty much my favorite part of the week. Just hanging out, that kind of stuff. So. And I throw in some educational stuff on top of it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting feedback for some reason.
Here, put my microphone in. I'll do this. See, I told you.
Yeah. Funny enough, Math Pig hasn't. I don't think Math Pig's said anything about the sound yet, but well, we're on top of it, Math Pig. All right. So. I was going to say, Math Pig, I was just going to say, I'll just highlight what he said in the chat. I actually just told Amanda about that just before we went on air. I said, did you never realise how much of a bump you got off of that? I don't think you were really aware yourself, were you? Because you said, well, I wasn't really looking. So.
No. And it goes for like Twitter. I was talking to Jassa the other day. And I was like, I swear, like a month ago, I had like 400 subs on Twitter, and it's something like 700 something today. So yesterday. So yeah, I don't know why anybody wants to listen to what I have to say, but they do. So it's cool.
Well, you've got, you've got a voice to offer, and someone said, it's not enough people who can talk about things like climate change in the community, really, and do content like that, which is, so you've got a niche there straight away, which, because it is, I think, probably the most serious thing facing the human race long term. I mean, okay, we can argue right at this present moment, you could possibly argue COVID-19, but
at the moment, I mean, not even that,
at the moment, but yeah.
Still, yeah, what's going to kill more of us is still climate change. So
yeah, I mean, is your, how frustrated do you actually get with like climate change deniers or that? I mean, that must be frustrating.
A lot. It's difficult because with a lot of people like this, like climate change deniers and flat earthers and anti-vaxxers, there's no amount of, talking to them. You could give them all the science in the world, show them all the proof, and it doesn't matter. They just don't want to listen, and they don't care. In fact, I have climate change deniers in my own family, You know, I have a cousin who would argue with me back when people used Facebook. I'd never go on Facebook anymore. It's so fucking toxic. But I I think I posted something. This was like 3 or 4 years ago, where I was like, I don't understand climate change deniers. They're just, and that was pretty much it. It was just one little statement, and he fucking went off about it. Like he, brought all this science to the table about how it's a hoax and all this stuff, and I was like, you do realize what I do for a living. Plus, a bunch of my friends jumped in, and a lot of my friends from uh, uh, friends from university and friends that I grew up with are all, highly educated, and they were able to throw their own 2 cents into the conversation as well. And he just was not having it whatsoever. Completely ignored everything everybody else was saying. Was just like, no, this is what it is. This is what I believe, and so that's it. Would not listen to anything. My parents, my father, more so. I don't know how my mother really feels about it. My mother had a stroke a couple of years ago, and it's hard to talk to her about stuff. I don't think she totally understands everything. But my father, he has his lucid moments because he has dementia. But during the day and stuff, he speaks normally and is comprehensible. He never said anything up to the point when Trump was elected. And once Trump was elected, he became, I guess, a climate change denier. I think just because he is enamored with Trump, which is just, it's really hard when your own parent kind of tells you, what you do is stupid, and yeah. So, but that's, my family is not the greatest.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly do find it sort of scary actually to be. I mean, I don't really want to talk politics too much, but I just find it scary, this kind of like cult-like devotion Trump's got from some people.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it really scary. When it's so clear to anyone with any sense, even if whatever your political views might be, that this guy is not fit to be holding any kind of public office, let alone probably the biggest, the biggest public office in the world. And there's this absolute cult-like devotion that he can do nothing wrong. And I find that especially strange from evangelicals, because he does just about all of the things that they preach against in church every week. Trump is guilty of it. I just find it amazing.
And I think that's part of it, though, is he lies to their face, and they just take it. And I don't get that. But, if he pretends to be this church-going anti-abortion guy, or whatever the hell else he's spouting that week, they'll believe it. Like, so you don't want to talk politics. This isn't about politics. This is just about him as a person and his following. And it is honestly really frightening, especially living in this country and seeing it unfold and seeing it like I said, my parents are huge fans of his, and they were never really that into politics before, but now it's like Fox News all day long. And my father he carries this fucking little Trump 2020 coin around with him, like it's this lucky coin. And I don't get it at all.
That's not the one this televangelist was flogging a year or two ago, was it?
Trump coin, I don't know. Possibly could be. And I'm sure that they've got all the My Pillows. I don't know if you know about the My Pillow guy, but
I've heard of it. I'm not quite familiar with what it is.
He's this super right-wing guy that he advertises on Fox. That's the only place that'll have him. So he has all these commercials with My Pillow, and I don't know, it's some space age pillow he calls it or whatever. But he actually spoke at the White House the other day in the Rose Garden. He I don't know why he was there, And then he said all this wonderful stuff about Trump, and afterwards Trump was like, "Oh, I had no idea he was going to say that." I was like,
Yeah,
"You
right.
fucking had him there at your post. It's not like you just let this random guy up to talk about you, you know." So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's this. I mean, there's no way, like, so you and I are getting fighting to the women Rose counted in the White House,
No.
because I think it'd be on camera saying, "No, he's a fucking moron," you know.
Right? They don't even let he bars certain media from the White House now. Like they can't, he only likes having people around that either they're the top people, like that come from CNN or whatever, and even them he's kicked out,
Yeah.
or they're the people from like Fox. The place is empty when they hold press conferences and stuff now.
People who aren't going to ask him too difficult questions, which he does not like answering difficult questions at all.
Mm-hmm. He got so mad the other day because somebody asked him if it had been dangerous how he had called the coronavirus a hoax at the beginning, and he got pissed off and just walked out. It's like, but that's an honest question. So
yeah,
I don't know. Lisa, sorry, I didn't mean to bring. I wasn't trying to bring politics into it. Just
no, I mean,
Trump fanaticism. It's hard in this country to talk about climate change and not really discuss Trump, only because he has such an impact on it. Because you have, I felt like with Obama, we had finally, because this country is so far behind the rest of the world in terms of green energy and just accepting it, that I've spoken to people from different countries, and they're like, they don't understand this whole climate change hoax thing, because they're like, what do you mean? Nobody calls it a hoax. We all know it's real. We all know it's, man-made. It's happening. This isn't a hoax. But here in this country, it's actually a fucking debate, and it shouldn't be. If you want to debate it being caused by man, fine. 97% of climate scientists agree that climate change is not only real, but that it comes from man-made causes. But I mean, it's still something that you can discuss. But to come out and say point blank, does climate change exist? No, that shouldn't be a discussion at all.
I will say it's not an exclusively an American phenomenon, because we do have them here. They might be not quite as numerous, but you certainly will get people who are like, "Oh, I think it's all a big money-making scam or whatever." It's like, so people are making a lot of money off this climate change thing, and I'm like, so you do realize the people who have really, when it comes to it, big business interest here, this is like the petrochemical companies that have got the most to lose from this, and they're the ones who are stopping a hell of a lot from getting done.
Well, I know personally, I'm getting so fucking rich off of this shit,
Yeah.
I make dick, okay? I really do. I make next to nothing. I'm a single mom. Like there is no money to be made in fighting against climate science, or climate change. There's no, I run data and write papers, and there's no money in this. So
yeah,
I don't know where they come up with that shit, but you're right. It is, big oil is making the money. Big oil is the one that has the reason to come out and say it's a hoax, because they don't want you to change to alternative energies. So
I was just going to read something from the chat. This is news to me, actually. Ilya Moon said, "You let that man to know we're excited to have her on Sunday 26th for the Uncalled For." I didn't even know you were going on there.
I'm very excited about that.
I had the Uncalled For on my channel several weeks ago. Brilliant ladies. I'm not just saying that because Ilya's in the chat, but like, get on great with all. They're all great. But I think we kind of somewhat bonded over having a mutual enemy whose name we're not gonna mention anymore on this channel. So,
there's a lot of that going around. That's one thing that's really shitty in this community. We should all be sticking together. Enough with the Yeah.
Well, this guy wasn't part of.
Oh,
I
okay,
really wouldn't say part of our community. He's part of the idiotic, science denying, reality denying
Gotcha.
community, and he's also a misogynistic asshole on top of it. So that's all I've got to say about that person. But I said I was done with him, and I wasn't going to. No intention of mentioning his name on my channel again. So
whomever he is, fuck that guy. So
yeah. I'll tell you off air who it was. You may have heard of him actually, but yeah. So I think so we've probably mutual enemies make friends there. So I think I've really get it off quite well with the ladies and the uncalled for over that. So, but I was just to get back to you. This is what we're here to talk about. Is you, not me. So I mean, you're going to say that climate change thing must be frustrating, but I mean, you obviously you've come into this community, and I suppose we'll lead off a bit of what I was just saying about the person we're not naming, but you've come across some fucking idiots already here, haven't you? I know, okay, I know obviously you had the run in with Mark Sargent. I'm well aware of that, and people questioning that Amanda's hasn't got attitude in the chat earlier. Go ask Mark Sargent about that. But
a little bit.
Do you find this though? You come into this community. Do you find sort of like more or less stupidity on YouTube within the real world? I mean, to me, I definitely being on YouTube, I just find more and more just. Whenever I think I've seen the most stupid, ridiculous thing I'm ever going to see, someone always comes out and says something even dumber, and but
yeah,
I don't know if you find that.
I don't know. I try to steer clear, honestly, people that are science deniers and people that are hateful and things like that. I don't go out looking for people. I try to stay within the community, specifically the science community, as well as the happy, lovey atheist community. I mean, like I said, there are some people in our community that can be quite hateful and stuff, but I think I find more stupidity on Twitter, only because I think it's more accessible. Like especially with my name, I think I get sought out because I have the word atheist in my name. I will get attacked.
You kind of got a target on your back there when she put that in your. She put surprisingly though, because I put my real name's on Twitter, but I also do put in brackets godless scum. I'm amazed I haven't got quite just for the godless thing that I haven't quite gotten. So some more idiocy from. But I mean.
Well, when I picked my name, it wasn't like I expected all the best people. Yeah, that's
Twitter's
true.
a fucking cesspool, Badger.
When I picked my name, I had no idea that I would ever have anybody follow me or listen to anything I had to say. So I didn't really think of it as it would be an issue. And my name is because me being an atheist and a mom to an atheist, I thought just it fit for me. But like I said, I didn't expect anybody to ever listen to anything I had to say or care about what I had to say. So, and then by the time I was starting my YouTube channel, people already knew me as Momma Atheist. So keep it, I guess. It's fine. Yeah.
Why not? Why not? You sort of.
I haven't had anybody really like come on to one of my streams or anything and say something hateful. I haven't done a lot of real atheism stuff on my channel. Excuse me. I do I do a show with my friend Chris that we're starting, and that will be more atheism centric, where we'll have interviews with other atheists and stuff like that, and that'll be streamed on my channel. So maybe it'll be different then. But when I did a show called Critical Bitches before, you know, that was a little more atheism centric, but that was also not so much on my channel. I only had a couple episodes on my channel. So I didn't get, you know, people specifically coming on to my channel to spout hate at me just because I think I was too small or am too small. So I haven't thought that yet.
That'll change. It's changing time. It's you know, I mean, it's some people I know on YouTube. They get shit from these idiots on a daily basis. You know, and I do think a lot of people, if you get used to it on YouTube after a while, it's kind of like you just become a bit numb to it at times. But I think it could be very difficult when you're first getting these kind of comments. I mean, I don't get too many. But again, I'm kind of under the radar really because this is a small channel as well. So at the moment, we're kind of under the radar. I think of like the real, like nutty ones. But I did get a few when I did a video about Ken Ham like several years ago. For some reason, that got like somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 views, and I did have one or two. Idiots in the comments section about that, and then I did a video on the British musician Morrissey and what a wanker I think he is, and I got a load of Morrissey fans come at me for that. So, you know, which is like I just qualified. I actually do like the Smiths' music, but I just don't like him. But. So you also do like your TV stuff on this channel as well.
I was gonna say a lot of
this
stuff. You know, I do fun stuff. One of my favorite things to do is I have a TV time talk that I do once a week, where I just bring on a atheist friend of mine. Actually, my first guest wasn't an atheist; he was a secular Buddhist, Jay from Nevermore Tavern. But he's, you know, an honorary atheist of sorts. He's always around us and comes on Six Pack and stuff. But stuff like that, it's fun. It's not, you know, we don't get too deep in any sort of like philosophy or anything. It's just doing something that you know, especially now with everybody locked in, and there's only so much bullshit and drama that we can deal with, to go once a week and to just talk about a show that you know, I pick a guest, or I have, you know, I ask around, is like, anybody want to come on, pick a show, and we figure out a show together, something hopefully that I've seen, so that I can blend to the discussion, and we just chat about it. Like we did The Mandalorian this past weekend with Mr. Bear Atheist, and my son came on, and that was fun. The weekend before that, we did The Sopranos with Easism Works, Sal, and sister, and we got so into it that we were a little over an hour in, and we were
I've got to confess, I had to stop watching that for a part because I still haven't finished The Sopranos yet, and I think there was going to be a spoiler, and I was like, nope. It was something that I was like, no, I haven't heard of this. I'm going to have to like come back to that one later. I think it was.
We still haven't finished the episode. Actually, we're doing the next part this coming weekend because we had to split it up. There was so much to talk about, and like I said, we're so into it. Like one of the things Sal and I kind of became friends over was just chatting about like gangster stuff, and so I was, you know, talking to him about The Sopranos. Like, you watch The Sopranos? Yeah, of course I watched The Sopranos. Well, let's do a TV talk about it. So, and we actually, a few days beforehand, we were just sitting talking with. Like we were, you know, doing the StreamYard thing, but we weren't like streaming or anything. We were just video chatting together. It was me, him, and Math Pig, and poor Math Pig was just like twiddling his thumbs in the corner while I think Sal and I talked for maybe over an hour about it. Just like we went on about The Sopranos, and we went on about the different gangster movies that we liked, plus the different gangsters that we liked, and so you know, there are things that I'm passionate about that I can just talk for ages about. Gangsters is definitely one of them, and climate change and
I've got a
Buffy.
friend. Yeah, I've got a friend who lives in New Jersey. He knows some of the sort of sites that were used in filming The Sopranos. So
you know what
he's
pisses
not a
me off?
YouTuber or anything, but
Actually, talk about being near someplace that a good TV show was shot. Is Math Pig is you Game of Thrones was some of the scenes that they did in Game of Thrones was near where he lived, and I think he even said he worked on some of the vehicles for them. Never seen the fucking show. Never once seen one episode. So makes me so mad.
I sort of liked it, and then some of it's good, and some of it I don't know.
Don't start with the later seasons. Yes, the later seasons didn't have source material, so and obviously they weren't the best, but it's still my favorite show, and
it is good. It is, what I've been again. That's something I didn't quite finish all of it, so it's like I kind of gave up on it after a bit, but I certainly enjoyed the earlier seasons of it.
Yeah, that's fine. I get a lot of people telling me with that and Breaking Bad that they won't watch them because they're so popular, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Obviously, I mean, I get it. There are certain things that are popular that are obnoxious. People just like them because they like them. But for certain shows like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, there are reasons they're popular and they're good fucking shows. So,
grumpy old dude saying he grew up around a lot of the Soprano sites.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because they are. Because I think the Soprano, I think what they call the DeMeo crime family, they're called in the Sopranos. I think that's the official name for them, but they're loosely based on the real life Cavalcanti family, I believe. If I know my mafia history, and I'm not a mafia historian by any chance, but I've got. On my phone here is a massive audio book about the 5 New York families, and I know that the New Jersey one is nothing to do with that. They do get touched on now and again.
What's the name of the book?
It's called 5 Families. It's kind of a history of. It's kind of a history of mainly the New York mafia families.
Okay, because I've read a few. Just interesting to. I like there's one that talks about the how Murder Inc. got started. And it was actually written back, I think, in the 40s or the 50s. So they had real interviews from some of the original members and stuff. It's really interesting. But
yeah,
I have weird weird tastes like that. And some of the history, modern European history, like the Tudors and the Borgias, that kind of stuff I'm really into.
Now there's a question. Did you ever see that series, The Tudors?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was good to watch. It wasn't exactly true to history. That's for sure.
Oh God, no! God, no! Not at all. Not in the slightest bit.
It's cute show.
I can get a little bit funny about that if things aren't. I mean, I understand you've got to take a bit of creative license, but I do get a little bit funny about that with certain historical films or TV series.
I mean, I find so many leaps that you can take, though.
I think the 2 most offensive to me are they generally involve Mel Gibson, and it's Braveheart and The Patriot, because that's nothing like the actual history of what actually happens. It's just a total fantasy from start to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And The Patriot was actually, like I said, on its own, not taking historically speaking, was a decent movie. But oh god, yeah, no. And the Braveheart one, they fucked up all the hell. The real history behind it. It's just sad because it's not like it isn't an interesting story on its own. You don't need to make it super Hollywood. So
I think the thing that kind of irritated a lot of people was the fact that they had William Wallace having an affair with Princess Isabella, and it's like, you do realise that if this was set in the real life and real time period, that would actually make William Wallace like a child sex offender. So you do realise that that's Princess Isabella was like 10 or something at the time. It's like, yeah. So that's little. I know it's things like that really that I find a little bit too offensive with that.
There's a show on YouTube. I think it's called History Buffs or something like that.
Oh yeah, Nick Hodges' show. Yeah.
He goes over movies to discuss the historicity of it, and I think that he does a really good job with that. Goes like point by point on what is actually true to life and what isn't true, and he will get very, very angry at times on certain things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I actually was going to say that I had actually considered doing something along those lines with my channel until I discovered what he was doing, and I'm like, oh, he does this way better than I could ever hope to do it, and it's just I'd just be I'd be a poor imitator now that I actually know that he's out there doing that. I mean, he's got like 1 million subs now. It's so. But I'd always fancy doing something along those lines.
It's like my TV time. I'm no TV critic. Clearly, I just care about chatting about it. So I mean, if you did something along those lines, but less, specifically about the history and more like chatty and conversational, like, it would be your own thing. There's so much content, and there's so much room on the internet for everybody to talk about whatever the fuck they want to talk about. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, so we covered a couple of your favorite. I mean, you obviously you talked Game of Thrones, Mandalorian. So I know you're a massive Star Wars fan. That's one thing we do know about you. And I'm going to show, just in case some of the some of the people who give Amanda grief about that in our community, all in jest, of course. I am with Amanda. I am way more a Star Wars person than a Star Trek person. I'm ambivalent. I'm pretty much ambivalent to Star Trek, in all honesty. But I love Star Wars. So
yeah, I think there's a different. Star Trek is more sci-fi, and Star Wars. I've always said it's a space opera. There's science fiction stuff in it, but it's more about the family, and it's more about the love story, and it's more about, I don't know, it's and I'm not huge into the drama stuff, but I like the weaving together of the science fiction and the drama, as opposed to just with Star Trek. I mean, there's drama stuff in it, but it's just, most of it's just straight sci-fi, and I like some sci-fi. I mean, like Battlestar Galactica. I
love Battlestar. That's one of my favorites. Are we talking the original or the remake here, or because
I've never seen the original?
I love the remake. I think it's one of the best remakes ever made. It's just my personal opinion, but even despite a lot of, without getting into storylines, in case because we want to save, in case you want to save it for a TV time on this, despite a lot of the sort of say religious undertones to some of it at times.
Yeah.
It was still a damn good show.
Yeah, and there's a lot of religious undertones to Star Wars too. I mean, the Jedi it's kind of like a religion itself. It doesn't make me like it less.
And the Jedi. I mean, in a lot of the extended literature ever, the Jedi Order can be incredibly dogmatic. It's
very much so. And I've had this discussion with a lot of people, is that one of the I actually tend to side with the Sith a lot, because they're less black and white than the Jedi are.
Yeah.
The Jedi are very, and I love the Jedi, don't get me wrong, but it's very, it's this way or no way, and I don't,
I find some of the characters that I've read about, the Sith Lords that I've read about. There's still some of the, like the Old Republic stuff I haven't really read, some of that literature, but I do find them more interesting characters in general.
Yeah.
I mean, so okay. Question. Before I give my answer, I want to get your answers. Favorite Sith Lord? Sure.
Oh, I can't remember his name, but Palpatine talks about him in one of the comics. He's from.
Plagueis?
No, it's not Plagueis. Not the one. Not the. I know who you're talking about. I'd have to get back to you on that. Angel knows it. But he's from like. He's one of the greatest swordsmen ever, and he's from like 1,000 years, I think, before before Star Wars is set. Yeah, I'd have to come back to you on that.
Darth Bane.
Yes. Yeah.
Darth Bane. He's my favorite, actually.
Yes.
I got like which I don't think they're part of the canon anymore. That trilogy of books, but
yeah.
I mean, I think Darth Bane is part of Star Wars canon still, but I don't know that those 3 stories are still canon or not. Because from a Darth Bane, he's the one that starts the rule of 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's a really interesting story, and there's a lot of complexities, not just with him as a Sith, but him as I don't want to say human. You know what I mean, though, as a character himself. No, that's definitely my favorite. Plagueis is interesting, but a little too on the nose, and I think kind of just shoved too forcefully into the story to make Anakin work, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But for me, in terms of Jedi, Qui-Gon, I think, is really the best of both worlds, because he understands that there is black and white, you know, and fuck Disney, fuck them hard, so hard.
I'm going to say the only thing I've actually, there's 2 things I've liked that Disney had done. One's The Mandalorian, and the other was the new Thrawn trilogy, the canon version of Thrawn, the books. Because I find him a fascinating character as well. So
I like the Clone Wars. I mean, although that started in like 2000, like the movie was in 2005, I think, and the show started right after. So I don't know if Disney owned them, but I know that they played I think that it was on the Disney Channel originally. I don't know. I do like, and a lot of people have a hard time getting into the Clone Wars because of the animation style, and it looks very childlike. And even the first couple of seasons are not. The movie was fucking awful. Have you seen the movie, the Clone Wars movie?
Oh,
Jeff?
that's the one with Jabba the Hutt's baby, isn't it? I suppose it's mostly supposed to be about Anakin taking on Ahsoka as a Padawan, I suppose, but it wasn't done very well. But
a little punky muffin, fucking.
Yeah, I just knew we were going to end up talking Star Wars at some point today. I just knew it.
Okay. I'd love to discuss that with you sometime, Badger, about how they get the thing with the Mandalorian, though, is you have to remember that the Mandalorian is not actually from Mandalore, as are most of the Mandalorians are no longer actual Mandalorians. They're only Mandalore from what they take on. They take on like the culture and the traditions and stuff like that.
It's more of a creed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a creed now, as opposed to being from Mandalore. You see a lot of the Mandalorians apparently in Rebels, which I have not watched. That is too much of a kid show for me. And unfortunately, there are a lot of storylines in it that I do want to see, like the Mandalorian ones. And there's also the Darth Maul storyline that's played out in Rebels. But I had a really hard time getting into because I've watched a couple episodes and it just, I mean, fucking the main character is a little boy. Yeah, just, you know. And in terms of Clone Wars, like I said, that the movie was pretty fucking awful. Even though Angel loved it, but Angel was really little. Like I remember we were stuck at my parents' house one weekend.
I think that's a fair comment. Yeah.
Yeah. My parents, it was before my parents moved here to Georgia, and we were still living in Connecticut. And for some reason, Angel and I had stopped at my parents' house while they were here. And we got stuck there for like 3 or 4 days because there was a blizzard. And the cable was out, and I wasn't feeling that well. And there was a TV in my parents' living room that had a DVD player like built in. So Angel just put the DVD in and watched it over and over and over again for like 2 days straight, because I just didn't know what the fuck to do with like, like I said, I wasn't feeling that great, and it's not like we could go outside. There was no cable, and it was just like, watch your movie. It was actually the first. I think it was. So it was a few months after Breaking Bad first came out, because they were playing. They were doing like showing the whole series so far on AMC, like over and over again. So I remember watching it for the first time that weekend.
I've watched Breaking Bad through about 3 or 4 times now. So
yeah, I've seen it quite a few times. Really, really is one of those just perfect shows. Like I mean, the casting is perfect, the writing is perfect, the scenery is perfect. It's just it's an amazing show. But yeah, so he watched that fucking movie over and over again. I've seen it plenty of times. So when the show came out, I was like, we'll see how this goes. Like I said, the first season wasn't great, but it really did get really good after that. And there's a lot of lore, like a lot of Star Wars lore to learn about in the show. One of the things is getting the crystals. I can't remember the name of the crystals. The Kyber crystals.
Kyber crystals.
Yeah, that you need to make the lightsabers, and they actually go through and show these younglings that come in, and they have to go through this trial to find their specific crystal. And it's really interesting to see. Although Ahsoka, as much as I like her in the later seasons, fucking early Ahsoka and movie Ahsoka is obnoxious as shit. God, she's annoying. She's just whiny and I don't know.
I do think Rosario Dawson's a good casting for her and Mandalorian, though. I think that I could see that one working.
And I think that Rex might be in it too, because Angel has shown me some of the concept art, and it's of Ahsoka walking along the desert with what seems to be Rex. So, and Rex is one of my favorite characters, so I'm looking forward to that. Not Cody though. Fuck Commander Cody. He is the worst. I hate him so much. Anybody who's seen the show knows what I'm talking about. Fuck that guy so hard. Anyway, see, I can ramble about certain things.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm more than happy to. Especially when it comes to Star Wars, I'm more than happy with that.
The thing with Star Wars is that, I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan growing up.
Sorry, Badger. I'm afraid it's happening.
Yeah.
It is happening, but it just depends. I mean, I'm not gonna like crap on that idea until I actually see it, though. I want to give it a chance.
Yeah. Like I said, early Ahsoka is fucking obnoxious. But like the last couple seasons, although if you guys have watched the new season yet, they just had a 3-episode arc of Ahsoka and these 2 girls that it has nothing to do with the fucking story at all. And I get that Ahsoka's out of the Jedi Order, but we want to catch up with her or whatever. But these girls, they're twins, and they don't know she's a Jedi, and I don't even know where the story is going. There's no reason to introduce 2 brand new characters into the story this late in the game, let alone have 3 whole episodes completely devoted to them. They're nobody, and they're fucking it's stupid. I hate it.
So, got a
But
question. Sorry, got a question in the chat there from Grumpy Old Dude. So, are either of you working on any new video ideas? Do you want to take that one first, Amanda?
Yeah, I have one, a climate change video. I just have to tape it, and it should be done in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So.
I haven't got anything particularly planned. Well, there is a potential interview I might have coming up, but I don't want to say who and where or when it's going to be yet until I have it confirmed. I've had someone tentatively agree to come on the channel, but sort of said, "Oh yeah, I'll do that," and then hasn't quite got around to getting back to me yet. So that's all I'm going to say. But I don't want to say who or what who it's going to be until I have it actually confirmed. So
Yeah, that's cool. I look forward to whoever it is.
Well, you actually kind of know Amanda, but obviously you kind of know who it is. That was because we talk privately, but
yeah. Do you want to say anything though?
No. It's
I can keep a secret.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, what I was saying is growing up, like I have two older brothers, and my eldest brother is 10 years older than me, was super into Star Wars, and tried really hard to get me into it growing up. And, I was just meh about it. I mean, I did see the first two of the prequels in the theater. I think the second one or the third one came out when Angel was like a year old. So I didn't really have a chance to go to the movies much when he was that little. But I don't know. But when Angel discovered Star Wars, and unfortunately he discovered the prequels first. I fucked up and I let him see the prequels first, and so he loved the prequels.
Yeah.
And so we saw that a bunch of times. He has since come to learn the error of his ways and
the true value of the original trilogy.
Yeah. He still loves the prequels, but he does see that the original trilogy is better. But he's the one, like, he just became obsessed. Like, since as it's the thing that he's loved the most, the longest. And that really, the kid you can ask him about any battle at all, and he will talk to you into the smallest minute detail of it for hours. He will tell you everything about it, and it's not boring. Like, it's really interesting to hear him talk about it and hear the passion that he has behind it.
Some of the lore behind it is quite. Unfortunately, these videos at the moment no longer exist because. But I don't know if you know, Surus did a couple of good videos. I suppose if you're into like philosophical kind of things, but he actually had a look at like philosophy of Darth Bane and the philosophy of Darth Plagueis. I think but unfortunately, because something happened with Surus's channel a couple of weeks ago, and really got hacked, and he's pretty much a lot of that stuff, at least for the time being, is lost. But he did some really good. He did a couple of good things, actually, looking at the sort of epistemology or something of like Darth Bane or something, which it was quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. I would have loved to have seen that. Like, see, here's the thing. Like, I said this before.
Fingers crossed, one day they'll be restored.
They'll be back. Yeah. Since I am relatively new to the community and new to, just even knowing that YouTube atheism even exists, fuck YouTube itself. I mean, I've never, up until about a year ago, I didn't really watch much on here. Angel would show me stuff every now and then, mostly gaming videos. There's a lot of things that I didn't get to see. Also, a lot of drama that stuff happened and people bring up to me, and I'm like, I don't know it, and I don't really care to know it.
Sadly, I agree. Sadly, can get very, very easy to get sucked into drama on YouTube. I mean, I think I've been kind of sucked into one or two things before, but I just try. Now I'm just like, I just want to stay as fucking far away from it as I possibly can. because sometimes it's like drama going on between two people I actually like, and I don't want to have to. I'm not picking sides here.
Well, I know, I get it. But that's the thing is I don't know any of what happened before I came on the scene, and I don't really care to know. Like, people bring shit up to me all the time, especially the like non sequitur stuff. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well,
no, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just saying people will talk on and on to me about it, and I literally have no idea. So I'll just nod my head and yeah, okay.
I'll just say last year that was probably the biggest drama-filled shit show on YouTube.
Still don't know a damn thing about it, and I don't.
Yeah, I'll just say one of the co-hosts I am friends with. I know he's generally not always too far away from trauma himself, whether he intends to or not. So, but it's but it's kind of like, that was. It was drama. I'd say it was drama and it wasn't drama, but it's wet at the same time. But I don't really want to talk because I did a whole video putting out my thoughts on that, and I was like, okay, next.
No, that's what I'm saying is that I don't know and I don't care.
Yeah, you don't.
Really don't.
Yeah, it's well, I say it's past tense. I mean, the legal fallout's still going on in that, and I just think let's let.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know.
Yeah, there is. The legal fallout with that thing is still going on. But I'm just like, the courts will settle it now. So
yeah, I mean, we have our own kind of family. In fact, we have the bigger group of us that are all together. But we kind of had to get away from even that, and there's a few of us that sectioned off and try to stay to our own selves, because it's, as much as we love everybody else, like me and Atheist Pastor, Chris, and his wife and I are like best friends, and we just try to keep our head down and just we support each other. Chris.
Atheist Pastor's awesome. He really is.
But we, especially with the lockdown stuff and everything, and everybody's had to deal with their own stuff. That has been most important for each other to just be there. And we have I have a thing with his wife, with Lissy, that we call each other every day. Just even and a lot of the times their kids fucking love me, and I think most of it's just because I'm American, and so that's novel to them. They watch a lot of like American movies and stuff, so just hearing my accent, they'll take the phone from her and they'll talk to me. And so even if I'm just sitting there while she's making dinner or whatever, and just to have that few minutes a day where we're just like, okay, we're here for each other. Let's be here for each other, and that's it. That's all that matters, is we know we're always here for each other. And so that's where we've been trying to stay focused on, especially lately, because all of us are isolated, and it's hard and it sucks. But we're doing the best we can for each other. So
that's what I mean. I think at the moment, these type of communities have become so important. Because because a lot of like are sort of, because there's like online communities, and there's kind of like your real life kind of communities, and those real life communities have been cut off to a lot of people. So if you've got access to like an online community, I've definitely been far more active because of the fact I'm in lockdown. There's no two ways about that. I've been far more active with doing stuff and being on channels where a lot of the time, like normal, most of the time, like say Six Pack, normally I'm listening to that on my phone because I'm usually working whilst it's on. So and I might just put something in the chat every so often, but I'm not that active in there because it's like
it's nice to be able to sit down and actually watch us for once, I guess.
Yeah, and actually come on one or two, as well.
Yeah,
So,
that
um,
too. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I was there.
yeah. Well,
No,
I was on first one I went on was sort of Chris invited me on was it was the one where Darth Dawkins turned up in the chat and started trolling people.
yeah,
Um,
he's a character, that's for sure. Um, yeah,
yeah.
I've told you, Badger, I will come on your show anytime. So that sounds like fun to me. We've been trying to do. We didn't get to this week. We were supposed to have one yesterday, I think, but we've been actually trying to
I'd
do
be happy to as well, Badger.
a midweek 6-pack, as well as just as the Friday one, because it is, like I said, and those of you who don't know 6-pack, or Atheist Pastor, go to his channel. What we do every week is on Friday. It's Friday mornings for Americans, but it's Friday nights for the Australians. It's just a bunch of atheists and a secular Buddhist friends that get together and drink and talk shit, and not in a bad way, just like,
Yeah.
oh, how much fun did you have on Twitter this week, and that kind of, like, it's just fun. It's not anything serious, and it means so much to all of us.
The only research you actually need to do to 6-pack is find something really dumb on Twitter.
Yeah.
To talk, then that could be a talking point. That's about all you need to do in terms of research. And of course, Twitter being Twitter, there's always something pretty fucking dumb on there.
It's an endless supply.
Although actually, Facebook's been the worst for me this week. I'll just say that.
See, I can't do Facebook. It is so fucking toxic, and it's just. And I have a lot of people that tell me that they're the only reason that they stay on Facebook is to stay connected to their family. Well, my family fucking sucks, so I don't care about staying connected.
Well, I got a Christian to rage quit one of me on Facebook yesterday, so I'm kind of happy with that.
Really? What happened? Tell me.
It was someone had put a story up about one of those pastors that was like holding who had died, and yet he died of COVID-19. Of course, he'd been holding services and telling people that even though it was anyone with any sense would not be hosting a gathering right now.
Yeah.
And you've got these fucking idiots on there defending him. And one idiot was saying to me, is trying to make the whole thing. It's like it's people's choice to go, just like how it's how you go on about it. It's how your choice to kill babies, sort of. Like, okay, it's a fucking and I'm like, I actually just turned his own logic against him and said, okay, you want to go down those sort of lines or whatever, if you're going to try equating birth control or abortion to what's going on here. So if a woman chooses to have an abortion, that's life. That's her baby's life or whatever. Yeah, okay. You want to go down that line, fair enough. So you going to church right now, he said you could probably potentially kill like a dozen other people who probably weren't even going to the frickin' church, all right? So, so when I told him that abortions are more ethically moral than church services, he lost his shit with me. So
yeah, I mean, you're talking about like.
I mean, I don't really, but it was just trying to use some of his own stupidity against him, really, But
you're not just exposing the people at your church. You're going to, if somebody's sick at church, and then you go to the grocery store and you're exposing all those people plus your family, and it's just,
And then you pass on to your family. Who do they pass it on to? It's like, it's so. Yeah. So as I said, normally it's Twitter that provides that level of stupidity, but it's actually been Facebook this week, and it's not just Christians. I think David Icke sycophants as well. I've got one of them to rage quit on me as well.
I don't know who that is. Oh, there he is. Hi, Dave.
That's very cool. David Icke is kind of Let's just say British version of Alex Jones would be the best. You know, he's been around a lot longer than Alex Jones. That's probably the best way to do. He's a far more well-spoken version of Alex Jones. But he's into his backstories. He actually was quite a respected figure in Britain at one time. He was a sports presenter on British TV, and then he just went completely batshit crazy. Thought he suddenly said he was the second coming or something at one point. Then he went away. Then he when he re-emerged with every conspiracy theory imaginable. Like this conspiracy theory that all the like ruling class around the world are like some like reptilian lizard people. That's where that shit originated from him. So, yeah.
I'm tired of the like. There was this video from I think last week of all these people going and going to church service, and they're all like, oh, we're washed in the blood of Jesus. Bullshit. And
yeah, brain bug, you got him. Yeah.
And even if that were true, which is obviously not, but people were, well, so you're protected, but what about all the people that you're exposing? You know, you carry the illness or whatever, and then to people that aren't washed in the blood of Jesus, they get exposed, and either they, we're not exposed at all because it protects us completely, or well, we don't care because they're not Jesus followers. So if you don't follow Jesus, then you deserve to die. Like, how is that okay? The insanity of it all is fucking, yeah. I don't get it.
But I think the conspiracy theory stuff has got really bad, because we've had like, it's actually, because one of the things that this guy Ike he's been promoting that whole 5G is linked to the coronavirus nonsense.
Yeah.
And we've had there's this firm called BT, which used to stand for British Telecom. They're like the biggest telecoms company in the UK. They reported in the past sort of week or so that about 40 of their engineers have been attacked on the job whilst working on like 5G masks or other masks that people thought were 5G, because of this kind of crap going about. And then of course you've got the conspiracy theorists that then complaining their right of free speech is being attacked when this shit is taken. These assholes like David Icke are taken down off of YouTube or Facebook. Because look, there's actual real consequences for this kind of stupidity being put out there.
Yeah, and it's like they're like anti-vaxxing. Honestly, as much as I am for free speech, I think there needs to be some limits with things that are dangerous like this. The people that go out there and spout this anti-science bullshit that ends up getting people killed. And it's not just, fine, you don't want to vax your kids, which is fucked up as it is, but you're putting people at risk that can't, get vaccines because for whatever reason.
The one thing they say that I really hate is that whole "my child, my choice." I really hate that.
Yeah.
When it comes to vaccinating your kid, because it's like, actually, no, you kind of got, because you're implying that your child is your property. But when you say it like that, it's like you have stewardship or duty of care to your child.
Yeah.
You're failing him if you're failing that child if you don't get them vaccinated. Now, I know there are cases where people who can't have vaccinations for certain legit reasons. I get that. I mean, because I'm on immunosuppressant therapy, like I can't have any live vaccines. I'd have to come off of my medication for a minimum of 3 months. Which if I wanted, let's say for example, yellow fever shot or something, but But like, the inactive or inactive vaccines, I'm okay with. I'm fine with them. I'm just active ones. I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed near because of the
Yeah.
which is why it's the same reason that the British National Health Service had told me to stay at home as being a high risk case, because I'm on immunosuppressant therapy. So if I catch COVID-19, my chances of dying from it are higher than a lot of people's.
Mm-hmm. My son has lung disease, and but luckily we found out. I spoke with his doctor, and because he had he was intubated after he was born, so there was scarring on his lungs because of it. But since it's hard to explain, he grew out of a lot of the scarring, so only a tiny bit of his lungs are scarred now. So we just recently found out that he's not as high of a risk category. So he did just get a job and was able to leave the house for the first time in a month, and was very excited about that. But yeah.
Oh, hey. Here's an account I've not seen in a long time turning up in the chat. Kent Hovin CPA. How you doing, buddy? I haven't seen that account about in ages.
Weed is essential, bruh. So,
yeah.
It's the only way to get through this fucking shit, really. But what was I going to say about one of the things, one of the vaccines is for, I can't remember the name. There's a certain type of sexually transmitted disease that men and women carry, but it doesn't affect men. But they vaccinate both the boys and the girls. So were my son to get it, if anybody can remember the name of it, the name, that would be helpful. But so my son, while he would be a carrier, if he got it, he wouldn't be affected by it. But I still got him vaccinated, and I had somebody argue with me about it. So why throw that poison into your body or into your son's body? Well, A, it's not poison. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But B, so he doesn't spread it to any women he sleeps with when he's older. It's not just about your kid either. So
I don't know who this is in the chat. I think do atheists only believe things that have evidence? Well, I'm going to just say to you, we can't. I don't know you, Jason, but we can't speak for all atheists, quite frankly.
Yeah,
and we're not going to attempt to.
Is merely we do not believe there is enough evidence to prove there is a God.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's all it is. It's to do with it's the whole thing to do with the God question. That's all atheism is, and some people have better reasons for it than others, I suppose. I mean, I'll be honest. I know some atheists who are thick as pig shit as well. So
yeah. No, I get that a lot too. Is you believe in Darwinian evolution, which is not a thing. It's just evolution. And yeah, a lot of us do subscribe to that theory because while it is a scientific theory, we also understand the difference between a scientific theory and a theory. Most of us are just educated and understand things better. But no, we don't. Or the Big Bang. I got thrown that a while ago, but I was, my undergrad was in astrophysics. So yes,
I wouldn't even know where to begin to get my head around that. So,
atheism is just about, our lack of belief in God, and that doesn't even believe that that doesn't mean that we say there is no God either. We just say that there is not enough evidence to support the existence of God. That is it. End of discussion. So.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's not really what we're here to be on. We're not really on the stream for that today, really, as such. But you want to know our positions. There it is. We're not convinced of the existence of God, or we actively don't believe. There's a God. That's you can see atheists will get into arguments over those definitions like that as well. So
yeah,
What happened to my shirt, Badger, is half of it is white and the other half of it is black. So I'm like, there, you see, and then there, yeah. You should know. It's Badger colours. Come on, it's black and white.
Did you fall in some bleach? Is that it?
Possibly, I don't know.
And we just
Jason, sorry, I'm going to say this. Jason, can I actually just ask you to knock it off in the chat, mate? Actually, you're welcome to take part, but I'm just going to politely ask you to knock it off in the chat, because we're not here to have a debate with this one, okay? There's probably other channels that are much better to have that on than this one, to be quite frankly. So I'm just going to politely ask you to just give it a rest, please.
Just ignore him.
Yeah. No, I asked nicely.
I know.
Once, but you know.
We're just chilling today.
Yeah, we're just chilling. It's just friendly conversation, you know, I'm having with a friend today. So, you know, we're getting to learn a bit more about, you know. Oh, look who's turned up in the fucking chat. Actually, no, I'll tell you what. No, Darth, you can fuck off. I'm sorry, I'm not having you in here. Thanks,
Chris,
one of them.
hello, by the way, and also that too.
Yeah, time him out. Actually, don't hide him just yet. But don't Darth, don't fuck off. Don't bring your shit in here. Okay, I don't want it. I'm not. This isn't I don't do fucking debate channels. I'm not going to do a debate with you. You got your ass handed to you by Chris, mate, and just accept that. So.
Oh yeah, that was fun though, because Chris is so eloquent and so well that he does something that I can't do is just speak well. I don't speak well.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's one thing that our friendship really brings to each other, is because, you know, I have the science and he has the history, and I, you know, he can speak well to things, and I can do research on things if he needs to. And he's also technically he's a conservative, even though conservatives in Australia are very different than conservatives in America. So, and any of you who know me know that the fact that my best friend and my two best friends, him and his wife, are both conservatives, that just goes to show how, like, you know, conservative they really are compared to where I come from. But being able to share that with people like that, it's just. But no, Chris is awesome, and he kicked your ass, so fuck off.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't ever you wouldn't ever like debate anybody? Is it just on your channel, or would you go on someone else's channel and debate?
I don't know. So I've never done a debate. I'm sure it's now. I'm not. And if you're still watching, Darth, the reason I won't engage with you is you're fucking dishonest. I've watched you enough times. You're dishonest. You're just dishonest the way you interact with people. Okay, you're not interested in having discussions. You are interested in, you know, in your own mind. You think you're going to go on there and embarrass atheists who maybe don't know anything about philosophy, or something. But you got your ass handed to you by Chris. So
yeah. Oh, and yeah. If I
I'm not going to have. I not, you know, I might have a debate at some time, but I don't want to waste my time with people who I know are just dishonest. So
yeah. No, I get that. And just to clear it up, usually if I'm speaking about Chris, it's atheist pastor Chris.
Yeah.
If you follow me at all, you know, we tend to be together a lot. So like I said, we have a new show that we're starting probably this weekend, which we're still trying to get a guest that we'll be doing together, just an interview show, laid back more so, kind of almost I don't know really to compare us to, but just, you know, two friends getting to know other people in our community, and because that's what we're about, is building our community and you know, having these friendships and families, really. And we've the people that we have on Six Pack, we call each other family, because that's what we are to each other. Especially a lot of us have very people that are very religious in our family are very much politically disinclined to us, and it's harder for us to have those discussions and bond with them, even though they
Yeah.
are blood. Sometimes picking your family is better. So and there's Dave licking people's noses again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Dave is another one. I want to talk about Dave for a second.
oh yeah.
Dave is Critical Cripple is just he is I want to he's like the glue that holds the best parts of this community together. He really is, and he has his own channel. Anybody that isn't subscribed really needs to go check him out. He does this question show almost every day where we just get on and he asks random questions and we all have random answers too. And you've been on it quite a few times, Jeff. It's a lot of fun.
I was on yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah, and he really is incredible. And then there's another Dave, Dave T, who was Dashing Dave.
He's in the chat as well, so
yeah, he's another amazing part of this community. The fact that we get to meet awesome people like this that are across the pond, in my case with Dave, both Daves, or in Australia or anywhere, we can have discussions late at night. We can find somebody to talk to and bond with and be a family with, I think is the best part of this community. And that's the stuff that we really try to raise up. We don't want the debate that Chris did with Darth was fun and all. And it's good to have an intellectual debate now and then. Well, that wasn't really intellectual. That
was just Chris shoving Darth's own stupid arguments up his own arse, quite frankly. But no, I don't. This is why, certain people you hear debate after a time, and they're running a script. If you've ever watched more than one of Kent Hovind's debates, that the guy just runs the same script every single time, and then tries to just gish gallop all over the place as well. But I don't know. See that there's really anything to be gained in debating or having discussions with people like that. I don't, because it's like they're not, they're not interested in having actual discussions to give to the truth anything. They're there trying to run a script. Yeah. And the thing is, people are caught onto this now,
Yeah.
But
there are also voices from the other side that we can listen to. Math Pig, everybody knows that I'm always on his streams and stuff. He does something that I think most of us just can't do, and it's just have an honest conversation with people that we don't necessarily agree with. And he brought Mark Sargent on, and everybody knows how that went for me. I didn't know who Mark Sargent was, honestly, before that. But Math Pig can sit and have a conversation with people from our community and from people from outside our community, and really see things from the other side, and not necessarily, you don't have to agree with them, but to be able to get that sense of where they're coming from and at least hear another side's perspective. It's something that not a lot of people do, especially in this community, and I really respect him for that. I think that's why.
Yeah,
I'm always on his channel, I guess.
Because I think I would probably lose my temper a bit with some of. I wouldn't have any discussions with, should we say, some of these YouTube flat earthers, like people like Mark Sargent or Jeranism or Nathan Thompson or any of that. I'm not going to have conversations with them. Because, I know they're dishonest.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that guy who was a friend of Chris's the other day that we spoke to. I think you were in there for a little bit, weren't you?
Oh, he was great.
He was a nice guy, but I think he wanted
to learn.
Yeah, which was I was like, which is why I was happy to have a conversation with him. I mean, some of those are other guys though, like the ones who are doing stuff on YouTube, where it be Mark Sargent, Anthony Riley, whoever it might be. Well, I mean, okay, I don't know. Riley, I think may actually. I think he might have started believing his own bullshit, but that's just my own opinion. But most of them, they know they're full of shit. Deep down, if they're really honest with themselves, they know they're full of shit, and they just argue dishonestly.
Chris, and I mean, atheist pastor, had spoken to me about a month ago, and he said, I have one of my closest friends. He's a flat earther. Do you think it's possible that you could have a discussion with him? And at first I was, obviously I will do pretty much anything for my friends. I will help them out in any way possible. But I was worried. I was like, yeah, because he's like, you're the only person I can ask that I know will be nice to them. And I was like, okay.
Actually,
right?
Sorry. Somebody, I'm just going to ask the mods, time Jason out, please, or because I'm actually pretty much convinced now that's just a sock account for Duff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dave. Thank you, mate. You've taken on. You've. I just noticed this. I'm not having it. I'm not having that in my chat. This isn't here to be a debate shop, really. Okay. You were asked nicely, and you just carried on. And I'm pretty sure Jason M's a Daft Dawkins sock account. So no, kick him the fuck out. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Fine. What was I saying? Oh, so yeah. So I was worried because I was like, I can get kind of heated about it, but if he's asking, I will do it. And I will be as nice as possible. So I had actually met him for the first time on that stream you were on the other day, and he really was very genuine and just didn't necessarily understand it all and just wanted to learn. And that there are people out there that are like that just don't necessarily know the science and want to know it. And I didn't get a chance to fully go into it, but I will when Chris has to set it up for us. But that I don't have a problem with doing. When you have people like Mark Sargent or whatever who come on who just like, fuck you, I believe what I believe and you're wrong. There's no point in that. There really isn't. So you're right there, Jeff?
Yeah, sorry, I was just adding one or two more because I realised I didn't have a lot of mods in the chat, so it's probably why it was only Dave. It was in fact,
I was modding too, but yeah.
Well, just glad, Dave. I appreciate you being on top of on top of Daft Dawkins tonight. Thanks, I appreciate that because I'm not having him hijack my live chat, so he can fuck off.
That's fine. And I don't know why he does that though. Like he'll come in as someone else, then come in himself, and he used to do that a lot. And I think once Chris actually smacked him down, he stopped coming. But he stalked Atheist Pastor for quite a while, and we had this ongoing joke that I was in love with him. So.
I'm just not willing to entertain it with him because I've seen enough of it. I've seen enough of his like discussions into debates to know he's dishonest and he's not interested in conversations with people. So he what he wants to do is try and embarrass atheists publicly, and he's not. Darth, you're not even very good at that. All right,
you're terrible at it, and you're going after like some of the smartest atheists I know. So
well, no, he's going after me. I would say I'm one of the dumber ones in the community. I'll hold my hands up.
Yeah.
I don't know jack about science, philosophy like a lot of the people in the community, but I do know bullshitters when I see them, and Darth's a good example of that. So
yeah, I think. Sorry, my dog.
So yeah, actually, yeah, I mean,
sorry, my dog was barking. Just there's no, especially when people are clear. Like that's something I find on Twitter a lot is that I will post something that is clearly just to my friends, something joking, something fun, and I'll get dog piled on by theists that are ridiculous about it, and they'll take whatever I said literally or go after. It's fucking stupid. clearly whatever I said was a joke, or I'm just playing with my friends. We have a right to have fun with our friends here. So, and like this,
Yeah.
this is just, Jeff is a good friend of mine. We've known each other for a little
Yeah.
while now, and he asked me to come on to have fun. I don't fucking
Yeah.
have to deal with your shit, Perth, or whoever the hell else wants to. Yeah.
Well,
Fuck you.
I think he's tried to come in on like 3 or 4 different stock accounts throughout this whole thing. So you just wasting my time, quite frankly. And
Math pig brought on his second account for stock account.
yeah, that's it. Hashtag blame math pig.
Always, absolutely always. No, but any of you who follow me on Twitter know that I kind of had a rough week, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I would not have been able to get through it without you guys, without my friends, without my community, without Math Big specifically, So that's why we're here, to support each other. And I know I'm being all lovey-dovey with all of you. I'm sorry, but it makes me happy to have this community and have this family of ours. So I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, so is there anything else you want to say in closing, or should we bring this thing to an end?
Well, I've rambled on for an hour and a half. So.
Okay. Well, I will just say, as Amanda's not like big on chilling herself, I will chill the hell out of her for on her behalf. If you are not subbed to Amanda's channel, please go give her a sub. The link is in the description to Amanda's channel. She's I often joke, sort of saying you're going to be a big star on YouTube, but I actually do, joking aside, I think you are going to get a following, because you do have something to say, and I think you've got to have a voice that is going to be very, very valued in this community, and I do sincerely mean that, and I think a lot of people would second me on that. So in the chat, I'm sure. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah, and so so please go give Momma Atheist a sub, and okay, I've been Jeff, aka Godless Scummer. We shall see you guys later. All right, salute.
Hey y'all.
All right.